Welcome to Meridean Overseas. I'm your host, Miriam, and with us today is Ashley, all the way from East London.
Hi everybody, my name is Ashley Veris. I'm the Director of Student Recruitment at Meridean International. We work really closely in partnership with the University of East London, and we run the International Study Centre that they have fully embedded on campus there.
Great, welcome to Meridean and to India, Ashley.
Thanks for having me.
Great. Ashley, there's a lot of buzz around about this Pathways program. So could you tell us a little bit about what the program entails? What is it all about?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the best thing to say is that a student should think about a pathway program as a gateway to the degree that they want to do at the university. It is designed for students who have done, at undergraduate level, have done their 12th examinations, but do not have the grades they need to be able to go directly into the university. So instead of stressing and not being able to get to the university like they planned, what they do is they come and they do a 1-year pathway program.
Okay.
And the level of pathway program that they do depends on what their grades are. And what we do is help them to have the skills and the experience that they need to be able to walk into their university degree and do really well.
Okay, so kind of like a life jacket of sorts, you might say.
Yeah, it's like a lifeline. It's a lifeline or a really good kind of plan B for students who maybe don't get quite to where they want to with their first attempt.
Okay, so how does a student apply to this program? I mean, do they apply to the university first or to the Pathways program? How does it work?
So sometimes students do both, or they can do either or, I should say. Typically what happens is that a student will place an application to study at the university. If they've already completed their 12th examinations and already have their grades, then I can tell you how that works. So if you're a student, for example, that have done your 12th examinations and you have got between 50 and 55% in your exam grades, then you would need to do a foundation program before you go to do your degree. It's all on one visa, so students come on board, they choose their undergraduate program that they're looking to study at the end, but they choose it with the International Foundation year option. And then that all comes on one visa. They do 1 year foundation plus 3 years of bachelor's in one study package. If a student has between, so that's if a student has between 50 and 55%. If they have between 55 and 60%, then they do the International Year 1 program, which is exactly the same program in terms of level as a bachelor degree. So 3 years study, all on one visa. They come on board, it's all integrated. They have small class sizes, lots of support. And they can do that before progressing to the university itself. So that's kind of how the pathway works in a nutshell. It's not something that students should be afraid of or they should be nervous about. They should look at it as a real opportunity for them to have their first steps into UK higher education. And ultimately, we're here to get them to where they want to be.
Absolutely. A course like this in the Pathways program will really help with that. And you know, whenever you go to a country that where the language of communication is English, you must know how to speak English. I mean, it makes your life easier as a student, because in the classrooms as well, you know, the instructors, the professors are all dictating and they're talking in English. Otherwise, the medium of instruction is English, and if you don't understand it, the students are the ones who are going to suffer. So it really helps them.
And that's exactly where Pathways come in. So I think that's a really good point that you've made there. What happens with pathway study is that we don't teach in lecture style. So everything is very small classes. So if you think like 15 students in a class, lots of time with their teachers, with their lecturers to be able to really understand what they're doing. And I think the best way to describe it is that if I moved to India tomorrow and I decided to study at a university here, I would need a pathway program to be able to understand what the expectations of me were, because I hadn't been educated in the Indian school system. This is exactly the same on the other side for students that want to come to the UK. We're literally there to be able to teach them the study skills necessary to be successful, to give them the academic knowledge to bring their knowledge up to the right place, and then also give them the extra added support and confidence in their language skills in order to ensure that when they move on to the university program, they're able to hit the ground running and really make an impact in their degree.
Absolutely. I would take it if I were there at that stage of my life, but I have passed it all. So actually, the other issue that a lot of students from India face is, or rather they have questions about scholarships and how do I pay for the program, how much does it cost, and do I really need to take it? Is it going to be like an added cost for my parents or my sponsor?
Very good question. So in terms of scholarships, yes, scholarships are available. So I think that's the first thing to make clear. For pathway programs, we generally offer £2,000 scholarship to students who come onto a pathway program. So that will help with their tuition fees.
Wow.
Tuition fees at the University of East London are pretty reasonable in terms of UK fees.
Okay.
And a student is going to study per year at the university for under 14 lakh before scholarship. So
You mean in rupees, Indian rupees?
That's correct,
Okay,
yeah.
great.
So in terms of UK pounds, if you're looking at that side, is £13,740 is tuition fee before scholarship. So you'd be looking at £11,740 after scholarship, and that's what students would be covering each year of their studies.
Okay, wow, so it's pretty affordable.
In
You see
terms
that?
of international education.
Yes, absolutely. Now, how is the pathway program linked to the University of East London? Explain that as well, because there could be a lot of questions. Okay, am I applying to the pathway program or am I applying to University of East London?
So you're actually applying to the University of East London. We just deliver the program for the first year of your studies. You're fully embedded as a University of East London student from the second you walk onto the campus.
Right.
You've got a student ID card, the visa, the CAS letter that you use to apply for your visa is supplied by the University of East London. And you have access to all the facilities and all of the social activities and everything else that's going on campus as a pathway program student. So there really is no difference between you and any other student doing the same level course at the university, other than the fact that you're learning in a much more supportive environment because it's designed specifically for international students.
Great, okay. And that's great. So they could be studying communication somewhere, they could be studying engineering, they could be doing any of that and still be part of the Pathways program. Is that correct? What are the programs?
That's right.
Yeah.
So we offer a range of programs. So at foundation level, we have got about 63 different undergraduate foundations.
Wonderful.
In pretty much every subject. Okay. So the only subject that we don't cover is nursing, but otherwise pretty much everything else is covered. And so that means engineering, computer science, business, the whole range is available to students.
Okay.
At International Year 1, that next level up, we have computer science, we've got business, we've got engineering, and we've got hospitality management options for students.
Okay.
And for students who want to go to postgrad, who don't have the GPA to go directly to the master's program they're looking for, we have an international graduate diploma that leads to all business-related postgrads.
Oh, great. So postgrad's part of it as well. So you see, you have a lot of options. Okay, now tell me, what are the countries, like usually when students apply to universities abroad, they're expecting to meet students from around the world.
Yep.
So is that the same case with the Pathways?
Absolutely. So we have about 20 different nationalities at the moment within our Pathway Center, and every intake that grows. So you will meet students from, at the moment we've got students from Thailand, Vietnam, Mexico, Nepal, India, of course, Uzbekistan, Peru. So there's a whole range of different students that you'll be studying with, not just students from India and definitely not just students from your own high school or your own university. So a good mix of students from all over. The idea being the more diverse the student culture, the more you get out of it as a student and the better and more rich your experience is on campus.
I think that's the perks of studying abroad, because you don't find that as much in India, as much as you do in the UK or other countries, right? Now, very keen to know if a student from India wants to apply, what are the chances of the student being accepted? That question remains like, will I get a visa acceptance? Will I meet other Indians there? Are there a lot of other Indians? How many Indians are there? So how do we do that? Can you tell us a bit?
Yeah, good question. I would say that the University of East London has a very low visa refusal rate. In fact, the visa refusal rate is under 2% of the total university student population of those that apply. And that's from all nationality groups. So in terms of will I get a visa, by the time you are issued your CAS letter, we're pretty confident that you're going to get your visa. There's no issue from that side. There are other Indian students on campus, but as I said, it's a diverse campus mix. So you will meet students from here. East London is a vibrant part of London with a huge number of, people from all over the world, and that means that you will find home comforts there as well. So you won't feel out of place. But I think the key thing is that, like anything, it's very hard to sum up the magic of studying in London and studying at East London without physically going yourself. But I would say this, that people are friendly, welcoming, and we just look forward to seeing you on campus.
Studying abroad isn't just about, campus life. It's also about what opportunities and access to other places and cultures that you have, like off campus. So do you want to share a little bit about that? Like, tell them what London's like.
Yeah, so I would say this, the university is located 20 minutes from London Bridge, so it's really easily commutable. There's a couple perks associated with that. Some of them are study related, some of them not so study related. Study related wise, it means that you've got work placement, internship, and part-time work opportunities very close to where you're studying, and there's lots of opportunity in London, which is of course what makes London so special in terms of the draw. But also I think it's pretty widely known that London's one of the coolest cities in the whole world to be in, and that means that there's such a range of activities that you can do that you're never going to be bored. So you've got a whole range of different activities you can take part in as a student, everything from a really rich culture, arts and music scene in London.
All the busking and everything that happens as well.
So
Love
much.
it. Yeah.
And you know what? The best thing is you don't need a huge budget to be able to study in London. This is a misconception. People have this feeling like you need to have tons and tons of money to have a great experience studying in London. That's not true. London transportation is heavily subsidized and capped, so it makes it low cost. And in terms of activities and things like that, there's tons you can do, huge student populations in London, but also just lots of everything else. Shopping, culture, theater, you name it, it's there.
I know. When I was a student, we used to shop at Primark quite a lot. I don't know if it's still around. So,
I still shop at Primark.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the things you can do there, and if you're studying in a different city and you want to come into London, the mega bus is there and you book it well in advance. I remember paying just about a little over £2 for a bus all the way from Newcastle to London. So there's lots to do. It's just that you have to kind of dive in and experience it and be open to it, We always encourage students to visit all parts of the UK. So not just to spend their time in London. Of course, you will never be bored in London. You can do something different every single day of the week if you want to and never run out of things to do. That's the joy of living there. But equally, the UK in general has got all sorts of things for you to see, whether that's culture and heritage based or you've got friends that are in different parts of the country. And you're right, there's some really good transport. I think the last megabus I did was across the country like you did. £6? That's
£6?
You can't beat that.
It's so cheap.
I know.
So there's definitely ways you can do things as a student on a budget and have a great experience.
And work off campus or work so 100%. That you can support all these travels within the UK. You probably can. Yeah, part-time work.
You definitely can. And I think that's probably worth talking about. So as a student in the UK on degree level studies, you can work 20 hours a week during your term time and full-time outside of term. Those are the regulations around that. And like I said earlier, there's lots of part-time opportunities available for students doing all sorts of different types of work that might be of interest to you. But the key thing is it's there to fund your exploration, your study work, your kind of hobbies and interests. That's what that work is there for.
Right. I completely agree. And I think don't hold back, that's the message I would give. Like, no work is inferior, whatever you can do there will actually expose you to people from different parts of the world, different strata of society. You might just grab an internship that way. You never know who you meet, and that's the part that we as Indians need to understand, that कोई काम छोटा बड़ा नहीं होता है. And there was a Hindi saying that there's no work that's inferior, there's no work that's better. It's just like student work. When you're a student, just go explore, work at McDonald's, work wherever you can, you know? Yeah.
I did. I worked at KFC.
Oh,
like there's no shame in
there's no shame, absolutely no shame.
Where it comes, but like on-campus work, there's lots of work as student ambassadors, helping out in different areas of the university.
Right.
But off-campus, you can work as well, and I think that's really key. In terms of the area around East London and London in general, there's everything from, you know, there's plenty of hotels, restaurants, there's great nightlife, and with all of that means part-time work opportunities at times that really suit students.
Right. So the world is your oyster.
100%.
And Ashley, I want to take this opportunity and thank you for being with us.
No problem.
And we'll obviously be doing a lot more of this. And in the meantime, we're looking forward to your applications and to the Pathway program, as well as to the University of East London. So we'll catch you here at Meridean. We have about 10 branches around the country. Catch us anywhere that's nearest to you. See you later then. Thank you, Ashley.
Thanks for having me.